My name is Jillian Ortillin. I'm a digital marketing specialist for Ensemble Travel Group and also the project lead for Monarch. And today we are here to answer the question, what is new with Monarch? Monarch was launched just last year, but already we have a full suite of upgrades and enhancements to show you today. Now, these enhancements we're really excited about because they're not only going to improve the way that you use the platform, they're also going to make your email marketing much more efficient and much more effective. Now, before we jump into it, just a couple of things that you should know. We are in a webinar today, so you are muted. So if you need to cough or sneeze or blow your nose, you are muted today. But just because you're muted doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. Cale Hungerson, Director of Digital Marketing, is here with us today, and he'll be taking your questions. So as we go through this, if something pops into your head, if you do have a question to ask, click into your control panel. It should be on the right-hand side, and there's a small tab there that says questions. Go ahead and type your question into the white box. Cale will receive it, as will I. And then we'll be doing a short Q&A Q&A session at the end. So let's jump right into this. So as you may know, or if you don't already know, Monarch is powered by Emma. Emma is an email marketing technology company similar to MailChimp or Constant Contact or Campaign Monitor. And we chose to partner with Emma to bring you Monarch because number one, it's very easy to use. And number two, they've demonstrated themselves to be highly innovative. I've been working with Emma for the past 2 years or so. And in that time, the kind of features and improvements they've rolled out have proven to be very forward-thinking and innovative. So all of the features and upgrades that we're looking at today have been developed by Emma and rolled out to you by us. So as for what's on the agenda today, these are the 4 main features we're looking at. That's the marketing calendar, A/B content testing, automated emails, specifically the branch logic feature of it, and creating landing pages. There's actually a few more tiny little tweaks and improvements that have been made to Monarch recently, but these are the 4 main ones that we'll be focused on today because they're the most functional and they'll also help you improve your email marketing. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is the email marketing calendar. Now, if you're currently a user of Monarch, you already recognize this screen. So this is your campaigns list, essentially a list of all of your mailings, and they're broken out into 3 tabs: your unsent, which is your drafts, your sent messages, which is messages that you've already sent, and then your shared folder, which contains all of the Ensemble email promos that we deliver straight into your account. Now, the problem is what you're essentially looking at here is a list of emails and a list of dates. Now, if you're trying to get an eagle-eye view of what your current marketing schedule looks like, it's very difficult to build that in your head when you're only looking at a list of dates. Now, that's where the marketing calendar comes in. You're going to see this immediately once you log in. It'll be on your left-hand side, and then they'll pull up the current month, and then you see all of those tiny little blue dots that are plotted out underneath the dates. Those are your past, present, and future scheduled emails, all laid out in a simple calendar. Now, what you're really going to get from this is faster, clearer visibility into your schedule. You'll be able to see the frequency at which you're sending, and from there, be able to strategically schedule any future mailings within that month. Now, again, those little tiny blue dots that you see underneath the dates, if you hover and click on any of them, you'll be able to edit the send details, which means your send time or date, your subject lines, the sender name, and the email, all just by clicking on it and pulling up those details. This is a much shorter pathway than what we currently have. And if you are using Monarch, you probably know what I'm talking about. At the moment, if you want to access this data, you'd have to click on campaigns, go through your list of emails, click on the email, which would load you into builder mode, and then you'd have to click from there to finally get through to this page. Again, this is a much shorter pathway to get to this data. It cuts through all of that mumbo jumbo and makes it much easier to get to this information and change a mailing information if you need to. The second upgrade we're going to be looking at is A/B content testing, and this is a brand new feature that's in Monarch. Now, let's take a look at these two mailings side by side. If you were looking at these two, which one do you think would get the most click-throughs? Which one do you think would perform better? Now, if you said the one on the left, you're right. Maybe. You might be. We don't really know, do we? The problem is with email design, like there are certainly best practices to follow when it comes to image sizing, layout, colors, typography, call to action button placements. But ultimately, many of us are relying on our own assumptions about what we think our clients want. We don't always know exactly what compels them to take action, what really speaks to them when it comes to our email messaging. So how do we solve for that? That's where A/B content testing comes in. With A/B content testing, that kind of guesswork is removed from your email designs. And what you'd be able to do is test for content. So again, the text that you have, the messaging, the colors of the call to action buttons, the message in the call to action buttons, you'll be able to test out different types of pre-header text. And that's the 60 characters or so that appear below your subject line. And you'd be able to test your sender name and the sender email address. So essentially how this works is it displays as what you see on the screen right now. You'd have two mailings, or you'd have one mailing and a variation of it as well. These two mailings will be sent to a small sample of your target audience. And whichever mailing performs the best, whether best performance is based on how many opens it gets, or which one gets the most click-throughs, whichever one performs the best gets sent to the rest of your mailing list. Now, this is really good because what this does is guarantee that the best performing content always reaches the majority of your audiences. And then on top of that, once you get those results, you'll be able to take away key design strategies and key content strategies that are specific to your audience to apply to future mailings so that your emails to your clients, to your audiences, your emails will get better and better and better. Now, the third upgrade we're going to be looking at has to do with marketing or with email automation, and that's the branch logic feature. Now, if you know your clients well, which I think you do, if you are a maven at communicating with them and building relationships, you can leverage this feature very, very well to nurture your relationships with your clients in a way that's 100% hands-off from you. Now, if you haven't worked with email automation before, the idea is pretty simple. So these three dots, they represent mailings that you've composed, and you were the designer of this, essentially. So here's your first message. You might set it up so that after 2 days, a second message automatically gets sent. And then let's say the recipient opens that second message, there might be a third follow-up message that they receive as well. Again, this is just one linear automated sequence that you design. Now, with branching logic, we now take this a step further. So rather than one sequence of communication, you can actually branch your recipients out to different messaging based on how they've interacted with your previous messages. So what I mean is if they've opened your email or if they've not. Those could be two different messages. If they've clicked a link in your mailing or if they haven't clicked a link at all. These are different pathways that you could take with your automated emails. Now, I know this sounds a bit abstract out loud without any visuals. So let's jump on into an example. Here's a mailing that you could have. It's a cruise offer. So $250 onboard credit. The offer expires at the end of August. Now, let's say that you have this offer in your hands and you want to send it to your list. You want to send it to your clients because you're looking at it and you're thinking, hey, I bet that everybody in our weekly cruise newsletter is going to like this offer. I bet they're really going to latch onto it. Let's send it. Now, my apologies. I think I cut out there for a second. Now, you can send this email once, and best case scenario, they open it. Worst case scenario, they don't open it. That's the reality of email marketing. They won't always open your emails. And like I said, most people, when they have these offers, they do send it once. But when it comes to automated emails, this doesn't have to be the terminal point of your communication with them. In fact, it's just the beginning. You can set your clients off on multiple automated pathways of communication. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean here. So let's call this path number 1. Again, it's the same email message. And on path number 1, let's say that they do open it. So in your mind, again, you are designing this. After they've opened it, you're thinking, okay, they're looking at the email, they see the list of cruises, they see everything, you know, they might be looking at the ports of calls or the inclusions. I'm going to give them 2 days to think about it if they open the email. After 2 days, they get this reminder email. Don't forget, space is still available. This kind of message helps keep your offers and your messages top of mind to them as the week progresses. Now, they might not open this reminder message, and that's okay. Like I said, not everybody opens the messages that you send to them. But what if they did open the message? And what if within that message, there was a product there, a cruise, a river cruise in Europe that they were interested in? So again, as you're building this process, you think, okay, if they did open the email and if they did click through to one of the products, I'm going to give them 1 day. Within that 1 day, maybe your client might be, passing this on to their partner for a future vacation plan. They might already be looking at their work calendar to see if they can get the time off. So you decide, okay, we'll give them 1 day for that to happen before another last automated message gets to them. Still thinking about it? We could save you a spot right now. If you're looking at this whole thing as a purchasing process, which it essentially is, this right here, this last message, this is your soft ask. Your recipient has already demonstrated that they've opened your emails, they've clicked through, they are engaged with your initial message. So this is the perfect time to ask them if they do want to connect directly, whether over the phone or email, to talk about setting up some travel plans. So again, here's your initial message that we started with. After 2 days, if they opened it, they'll get a reminder message. And if they click through that reminder message and clicked on any of the products, after 1 day, they get a soft ask email. Again, this is all completely automated. You are not sending these emails out individually or typing them in Outlook. This is all happening within Monarch. Now let's look at an alternative. Again, starting with the same message. What if they didn't open the first message this time? You can set it up so that after 3 days, they automatically get a reminder. Just like before, just a slightly different framing and message. So this is more of an, in case you missed it, in case you didn't see it in your inbox, here it is again. And if they do, or if they don't open it, but if they do open it, then after 4 days, you can set it up so that after 4 days, they automatically get the message. Don't forget, space is limited. Another reminder. Now, I feel like I need to say it again. You can take any travel promo and blast it out once. That's what most people do. Or you can take any single promo and build this. Because what you're really seeing here is a well-oiled lead generating, lead nurturing machine that's completely hands-off from you, saves you time, and builds relationships with your clients and with anybody that's in your list. Email marketing or email automation, specifically this branching logic feature. This is a really powerful feature in Monarch that's coming to you, and I really hope you take advantage of it. Now, the last enhancement we're looking at is for landing pages. This is the one that I'm most excited about, and I hope that you'll be excited about it too. Now, Ensemble already provides to you within that shared folder that we saw earlier, Ensemble provides to you automated email promos alongside automated, well, actually, automated's not the word. Ensemble provides to you pre-generated email promos and matching pre-generated landing pages. That's what we offer to you, but we know that outside of that, that you're also composing your own emails that you're sending to your clients. Now, within Monarch, you can compose and send as many emails as you like. There's no limit on that. But every email typically links to a landing page, doesn't it? And what if you don't have the resources or the time to build a landing page for all of your emails? This is where the landing page builder comes in. You're now able to build beautiful, responsive landing pages using the exact same drag and drop builder that you're using for emails. If you're using Google Analytics to track it, you can certainly plunk in the code. And best of all, landing pages don't expire. Now with Monarch emails, the lifespan of it's typically 18 months before it gets set into what's called a retirement phase. But when it comes to landing pages that you build in Monarch, these live on our servers forever. So they'll always be there whenever you need them. So if your ability to create landing pages has been out of reach up until now, it's not out of reach anymore. Again, this is a feature that I'm super excited about. And again, I hope you take advantage of it. So those are the 4 main upgrades that we are looking at. In addition to this, there's also a couple of tiny little tweaks and improvements that you're going to notice within Monarch. So think of this as the lightning round of features. We're going to roll through these pretty quickly. Team logins. Some of you have been asking me about this, and it is here, team logins. So rather than having one single login per account, if you are collaborating on your email marketing with your colleagues or your coworkers, you can now have up to 10 users per account. And that starts all the way from a top level admin account holder, all the way down to maybe somebody who just needs to get analytics on all of your mailings. Adding and removing people from groups. Now, this has been a pain point for some of you and for me as well, because obviously I use Monarch as well. If you have somebody who's subscribed to one of your mailing lists and you have to remove them from that mailing list manually, currently what you have to do is go into their record, uncheck a checkbox, and then save. That's what you have to do if you want to remove one person. However, that's also what you have to do if you want to remove 5 people or 10 people or 200 people. It's not great, to be honest, but we have a solution for that now. What you can do, whether you're viewing all of your contacts or just a group of them, you can now checkmark the contacts that you want to either remove or change or add to any group. This is a fantastic fix. Honestly, it just makes so much more sense, and I'm happy to see this. Response reports. Whenever you click on the response button, there's typically a summary of your mailing's performance at the top in the form of a line graph. To be honest, it never looked very pretty, but the response reports now have been given a makeover. They're colorized, they're much more easy to read, and you can now even specify the date range that you want to display. So if you need to have any of these line graphs, and if you need to throw it into a PowerPoint or a presentation, or if you need to print them out, they will print out and display much more nicely than before. Duplicating segments. If you are one to segment your list and you like to build really intricate, complicated segments, and let's say that you wanted to take an existing segment like that and then build another one that's based off of it, you would actually, at the moment, you'd have to start from scratch and build right from the top. you can now duplicate any segment that's in your list. So you simply click on one, click on duplicate, and then have a copy of that existing segment and then build from there. So much more simple, so much more quick. And then the last little enhancement we're looking at is actually currently implemented. Now, right beside the save button, there used to be a undo and redo button set, a backwards and forward button. This has been replaced with revert to. And what this is a drop-down list of all of the iterations of the email that you're currently designing in 15-second fragments, which makes it much more easier to undo your changes rather than hitting, back from an arbitrary spot over and over again. So again, if you're building an email and let's say that you've got a purple background and you've got sparkles here and dancing babies at the bottom over there, and it's starting to look kind of Frankenstein-ish, you can click on revert to, scroll down and roll it back to maybe 2 minutes or so, and then get placed in a state of your email design where you can start again and start building it again. Now, those are all of our upgrades and enhancements, and all of this is coming to your account on July 21st, which is next Friday. Now, what do you have to do until then? Nothing, really. You won't lose any data, you won't be losing any mailings or anything. All of these features are coming into your account with the mere flip of a switch. So again, July 21st, that's next Friday. If you're looking for some help on how to use these features, if you're looking for some documentation, that's going to be coming into Monarch's Resource Center starting next week. Go to monarch.ensembletravel.com/resources, and that's where you'll find some documentation and help on how to use all of the features that we've talked about today. While we're actually looking at this screen, if you look at the screenshot at the bottom, there's a little tiny green dot there that's application status. Now, this was added just recently. Monarch is a web-based application. And so just like Facebook or Amazon or anything else out there that's web-based, there can be outages. It can happen few and far between, but honestly, it can happen sometimes. So if you're using Monarch and maybe a page isn't loading or something strange is happening, go to this resource page first, monarch.ensembletravel.com/resources. If that button or if that light is not green and if it's red or orange, then something weird is going on. If that light is green and you're still experiencing something weird, send me a message. Let me know and I'll make sure that it is on the radar. So we kind of have a mix here today of Monarch users and non-Monarch users. If you don't have an account yet, go to monarch.ensembletravel.com, click on the big blue button, and you'll be able to start a 2-week no obligation trial. If you're here today from Travel Planners International and you also would like a trial account, get in touch with the staff there and they'll be able to set you up. And that is everything. Those are all of our features and upgrades. Thank you so much for listening today. We're now going to jump into some Q&A here with Kale. So, Kale?
Hi, Jillian. Thanks so much. That was an awesome presentation. I think everyone can be excited about these new features and upgrades. So we have quite a few questions in the sidebar here. So I'm just going to start with the questions at the beginning, and Jillian and I are going to tackle them as a team. The first question came from David Brams, and the question was, can you test the subject line in A/B testing?
Yep, absolutely. A/B subject line testing actually is in your account right now. You won't have to wait for the upgrade. So David, if you're designing your emails, once you've designed your emails and you've clicked review and send, there is an option somewhere near the top where you can enter your subject line and then a checkbox right underneath it that'll activate your A/B testing. And you can actually test up to 3 subject lines in this process.
And then we've got another question from Diane Blair Hickey, and her question is, what is a good number for a small sample for A/B testing? Now, personally, what I like to do is choose 10% of my total list size, but with that being said, Monarch may actually decide what that number is and have it statically set. I'm not quite sure about that one, Jillian. I'll pass to you.
Yeah, sure thing. I agree with you. 10% is probably a good sample size. As it's currently set up in Monarch, I believe that you can choose increments of 10 percentages. So 10, 20, 30, 40, up to 50. There is a minimum sample size that you need. And if memory serves, I believe that it's 500. I will have to check on that exact number for you, Diane, though. But if memory serves, there is a small minimum that you'll need. Because, for example, if you were sending to a list of, say, 10 people, and you chose a list, a sample size of 20%, and that's only 2 people, and that's not exactly statistically significant. But yeah, I think that the minimum sample size is 500, but I'll double check that number after we get off of this webinar.
Perfect. And the next question is from Dorothy Tonks, and she's asking if she can see when a client opens a message or clicks on a product offer. Absolutely. There's a ton of data in the analytics and response section that will show you exactly how users are interacting with your email at a high level, which means everyone, as well as at a lower level for the individual use. So the answer to that is absolutely. The next email or question is from Denise Lawrenson. Do you guys help us in the setup for automation if we are not sure how? This is a good question, and we will have to figure out a way to do that. We are looking at ways to have a bit more of a support system where you can pay for additional services for setting up different features where you need assistance. And then we have two questions from Leanne Arnott. And the first one is, what is the difference between a landing page and our client site and the benefits? Jillian, do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, you can if you like, sure.
Okay, so for the difference between a landing page and the client site is your client site is your website, and the landing page builder is to build a singular page that has information. My recommendation would be to build out pages on your client site for larger campaigns where you have the time to do it and the capability to do it. Sometimes it's a little more complicated. The benefit of building landing pages in Monarch is you can build your email, the landing page for all the product and offers in it, and really quickly deploy the campaign without very much work. So it's more of a decision choice, but your client site is your website, where a landing page is a singular page that contains information about a promotion, campaign, offer, product, etc. So that would be the difference and the benefits. Then the other nice thing about doing landing pages directly on your client site is if a user or a client doesn't like the product that you've pitched, they can navigate through the rest of the pages on your website. So sometimes that extra little bit of work can help. The next question is, how do I set up the path options? Will instructions be provided after the webinar? I'll pass that to you, Jillian.
Sorry, can you say that one more time? I actually missed it. Can you say it again?
Sure. How do I set up the path options, and will instructions be provided after webinar? I think it's a question on the automation workflows.
Oh, okay. Setting up automation within Monarch is merely a matter of selecting an email, selecting the condition, so whether or not they've opened it, whether or not they've clicked it, and then branching it out into yes or no options. So if you start with one email, you can set it up so if somebody opened an email, you'd click yes, and then you'd click on the email that they get sent if the option is yes. So there isn't any coding involved in this at all. It's just a matter of, again, clicking and choosing the emails that you want, and clicking and choosing the yes or no conditions and the open or click conditions. There will be documentation on this starting next week. And I think if you take a look at this screenshot in that documentation, it'll give you a good idea of how to operate it.
Okay, we've got 4 more questions, and then what we'll do is if there's any other questions that come through, we'll record them and we'll email the individuals directly. So one of the questions is, how do you get contacts into Monarch? That's a simple one. You export it from your system and you can put it in via CSV, or you can add individual email addresses into the platform on a one-off basis. One question is there any unsubscribed connection between CD Plus and Monarch yet? The answer to that is no, but Jillian has been working very hard with our partner, and we are in conversations to build something, and we're actually having our next level conversation near the end of the month, maybe early August, and we may have a solution to release in the next. I don't know. What would you say, Jillian? Q4 maybe.
Q4, hopefully.
Okay. Then does Monarch send out notices about unsubscribes after an email? That would be listed in your platform. And then the final question, I believe, is also related to automation. And I think it's a follow-up question, Jillian, to your comment about the total amount of clients in a list for A/B testing. This agency may only have a list of 500. So they're just wondering from an A/B testing perspective if their list is too small to use that functionality.
Yeah, sure. If my assumption is correct about the minimum requirement, then the A/B content testing for that particular list that you're sending to, it might not be activated. If you start to grow your list further than 500 people, then you'll see that whatever mailing you're sending to that list over 500 will qualify for it. But again, I'm going to have to actually check the number to be sure about this.
Sounds good. That's it for the questions, Jillian.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks so much for doing that, Kale, and thank you everyone for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And if you have any direct questions for me, you can send me an email.